We all have these little pockets of time, maybe 20 minutes while you wait for your dinner in the oven, or 15 minutes waiting in the car to pick up your buddy, or 20 minutes on the commute to work. All these little pockets of time are where most people fill with phone time. That's what I used to do. And I'll just speak for myself when I say that most of the time that I spend on my phone makes me feel worse. If I spend 30 minutes scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, I feel drained. Afterwards, I struggle to focus, my brain is constantly ping-ponging around from thought to thought, and overall, I just feel more tired than when I started. For me, I think a big part of that is when I scroll, my brain just turns off. It's a very passive activity. But since getting the Steam Deck, these little pockets of time now, instead of scrolling for 20 minutes, I just pop out my Steam Deck and play Dead Cells or Red Dead Redemption 2. And that is the first major way the Steam Deck has changed my relationship with gaming. But the deck has changed my relationship with gaming in three major ways. I think the last one has actually been the most surprising for me, so stick around for that. There are only a few tech devices that I can honestly say have made a substantial difference to my quality of life. The Supernote, which helps me stay in the flow while I'm brainstorming and writing. The M1 Max MacBook Pro, which allows me to video edit 4K footage for hours on end on battery life, and the Steam Deck. And if we were to take a closer look at those three, it's surprising, to me at least, that the Steam Deck is on this list, because the other two are productivity devices, and the Steam Deck, it's a gaming device, which a lot of people would classify gaming as a time waster. So how could a gaming device improve my quality of life so substantially? And if you're not a gamer, you might be thinking that playing video games is the same as being on your phone where you just turn your brain off, but I completely disagree. For at least me personally, I find when I play video games, my brain is fully engaged. I'm actively problem solving, figuring out new ways to do things, unraveling puzzles, or whatever it is. This might not be the case with all video games. Definitely some of them are more simple and less engaging than others, but still, I think the rule generally holds true. Video games are about giving the player a problem and having them find their own way to solve it. And that makes it dramatically different than scrolling on a phone, at least for me. And what's crazy about this is I have a gaming PC, and technically at any time, I could just go sit down and power that on. But if I only have 15 minutes to kill, I'm not gonna go turn on my gaming computer. I'm just gonna sit there and scroll on my phone. So maybe what I'm trying to say here is that the Steam Deck removes the feeling of needing to make a time commitment to play your video games. You can just pick it up, play for a few minutes, and set it right back down, just like your phone, and I don't feel that same way about my desktop gaming rig. And that's another thing. Maybe it's just part of growing up and becoming an adult, but I've found I have less and less time for longer drawn-out gaming sessions, which before the Steam Deck generally meant I just didn't play very many video games, because I just have this inbuilt idea that it's not even worth turning on my gaming PC and getting everything set up if I don't have at least an hour to kill. Whereas on the Steam Deck, if I have 10 minutes, I'll play for 10 minutes. One huge factor in that is the instant resume on the deck. You can go from sleep to gaming in literally 3 seconds, whereas with my gaming PC, I turn it off when I'm not using it, and then I have to boot it up and load into the game, and it's gonna take a while to actually start playing whatever game I wanna play. And then when I'm done playing on my deck, I can just hit the power button and it'll save exactly where I am instantly. The ability to pick it up and set it down so easily actually makes me more willing to also put it down when I'm ready to do something else, which might sound counterintuitive, but it's just been my reality. When I'm on my gaming PC, sometimes I'll be having a losing streak or I'm just not enjoying it anymore, and I notice I'm less willing to just stop playing when I'm not enjoying it anymore on my desktop PC, but when I'm on the Steam Deck, as soon as I'm not feeling it, I have no problem just setting it down and doing something something else. And if I do want to play at my desk, which sometimes I do, then channel sponsor UGREEN has you covered with their 9-in-1 USB-C docking station. First, this dock isn't just compatible with the Steam Deck, it also works with virtually every other handheld out there, like the ROG Ally, Legion Go, and even iPads with Type-C. The flip-out panel doesn't just help pack it up for travel, but it also adjusts so that regardless of what handheld you're using, it's not going to block the air intake. It supports 10 gigabit per second data speed with 2 Type-A ports, so you can easily plug in a mouse and keyboard or whatever accessories you have. It supports up to 4K 60 FPS, which means 1080p 240 is also an option, and it can output up to 100 watts, which is no problem for the Steam Deck's max 45 watt charging speed, but also maxes out the ROG Ally X's theoretical 100 watt charging speed. Basically, this dock can do it all at a price that is dramatically lower than the official Steam Deck's dock. Check the link in the description to get 33% off, and thanks again to UGREEN for sponsoring this section of the video. I also think part of the deck's magic is the types of games that I can play on it. On my desktop, I play more competitive online shooters like Marvel Rivals or Counter-Strike, whereas on the deck, partially because I'm not on mouse and keyboard, and partially because the smaller screen makes it harder to play super competitive games, I end up playing more indie games and story-driven single-player games. And as it turns out, story-driven games are so much better for my mental health than competitive shooters. I don't know why I wasn't really aware of this, but when I'm playing Marvel Rivals or Counter-Strike or some game like that, I'm actually not having fun a solid amount of the time that I'm playing because I'm tilted or our team is getting crushed or whatever the reason is, and while it's kind of embarrassing for me to admit, I'd still keep playing even though I wasn't having fun a lot of the time because I just want to win. I just want to end that losing streak. Single-player story games, on the other hand, I basically never tilt and I'm almost always enjoying the game, and if I'm not, I literally just set down the deck and take a break. It's no big deal. It honestly feels like somehow I got psychologically tricked by game developers into playing these online competitive games, and while I like them and they can be fun, especially when I'm playing with friends, they also have some major downsides that often make them less fun for me personally. And I have an experiment for you. Next time you're playing a competitive online game, try to stay aware of your body and your emotions, and try to be aware of if you're actually enjoying it. When I started running this experiment more and more, I was shocked at how much of the time I spent playing video games when I wasn't actually having fun. I was running, I was trying to do something to distract me from my life, and I was more just keyed up or tilted or angry or annoyed or whatever it was. I'd love to get your perspective in the comments though, and please have understanding for others. Everyone has a different experience. Let's be kind to each other in the comments. Anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Steam Deck changed gaming for me in 3 main ways. 1, it allowed me to play games for small chunks of time, in the car, at the airport, while I'm cooking dinner, and made gaming less of a time commitment. And it turned time that felt wasted before into enjoyable, fun gaming time. A lot of wasted time before was just spent mindlessly scrolling on my phone, and now it's time that I enjoy spending playing video games. And 2, because of that, I'm spending less time on my phone, which just feels better for my mental health. As lame as it sounds to say, it's been true for me that less time spent on my phone genuinely makes me feel better. My parents were right, it really is that damn phone. And number 3, it changed the actual games I play from more competitive online games to more indie games and story-based single-player games. And that, it turns out, at least for me personally, is way better for my mental health, and it's made gaming remarkably more fun. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I didn't play very many indie games before the deck, but now that I've started, I genuinely think indie games are better in almost every way versus mainstream games because they're focused on actually having fun and they can take risks and make unique choices and they don't end up all feeling the same. I have way more memorable and enjoyable moments playing indies and story-driven games than I did playing online shooters, but that's just me. I know everyone has their own experience. And a little bonus tidbit in that is that I've I've finally been working through my massive Steam backlog because I'm not just playing the same games over and over for hours on end. The deck motivates me to try out new games. And the last thing, and we'll leave it here, is I used to miss more flights than I'd care to admit because I didn't like waiting at my gate, so I'd try to time it so that I could just walk onto my plane and I didn't have to wait. And because of that, I would end up missing flights. I know, it's a terrible character flaw, but whatever, it's what I did. But with the Steam Deck, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, but it is true, I actually enjoy having downtime at the airports because I just get to chill out and play my games, and at least for my capitalism-riddled brain, it gives me this chance to say like, okay, you have free time where you don't have to be productive. Like if I was at my house, I'd be telling myself, you should be doing something productive. But because I'm traveling, I'm like, nah, it's gaming time, have fun.
Go play, boy. Play if you must, boy. 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 Boy.
All right, that was not a good Kratos voice. Anyway, all this to say, the Steam Deck has genuinely changed my relationship with gaming, and not only has it allowed me to actually play more video games as an adult, it's gotten me into new genres of games that I never would have played before on my gaming PC because of its unique characteristics. So I absolutely love it, and it's allowed me to get back into gaming as a grown man. Oh, I'd love to hear what your favorite indie games are to play on your Steam Deck because I'm always looking for new ones. And then once I find a bunch of indie games that I like, I'll do a games roundup on here so we can all collaborate together to make a good list of games for our Steam Deck. All right, see you guys in the next one. Peace.